think they should overhear this. There is no way. And speaking on the subject, every so often, speaking of the subject, God, I should come through the neighborhood, uh, and they give a people, other people, each other and stuff too. Here's my point, you know, so I don't seem rude or close the blinds when the Jehovah Witness show up or pretend you're not home or when they're knocking at your door. I'm just going to tell the truth when it comes to me. I don't allow anyone to talk to me about my father or my mother because it's a sensitive subject. If you say the wrong thing, it could get ugly. So I don't allow anyone to speak about God to me, or speak about my mom, all right? If you come to me talking about my mom, I'm gonna say, hold up, I know my mom better than you. Why do I need you to talk to me about my mom? And if you say the wrong thing about my mom, I might break your neck. Well, they have to understand that when it comes to God, it's the same thing or greater. I don't allow anyone to come to me talking about that subject because I know God better than they do. And if they say the wrong thing, I'm liable to destroy them and their church. So I don't get into those conversations. So that's the best way to put it. You tell them these exact words. I don't allow people to come to me to talk about my mother or my father because it's a sensitive subject. And if you mess up and say the wrong thing, it could get ugly. And then let them be on about their way. You know, that's what you do. You don't make yourself into a bad guy by lying, or hiding inside your own house and not answering the door. That's weak and insane. Face everything. This is how I'm going to deal with it without offending anyone or their religion or what they're about or nothing. Just simply tell them. You coming to me talking to me about God is the equivalent of you coming to me talking about my mom. If you make the slightest mistake, I'm going to bite your head off. Do you really want to go there? I think you shouldn't. Those are two things I don't allow any people to talk to me about because I know I'm better than them, and they don't. And I have extreme emotional instability when it comes to when you say something about someone's mom. It's murder all over the planet in any language in any culture. If you say something wrong about someone's mom, they're gonna kill you. Same way with your father. It should be. Matter of fact, it was supposed to be greater than that because who said God was a he? So if you come to me talking about my mom, be careful. No, just don't do it at all. I don't need you to come talk to me. My mom doesn't need you to come talk to me. Our communication is fine. You go work on yours, your relationship. I'm good. I didn't want to go here right now. Matter of fact, I had paused the tape and actually said I don't really want to talk about this right now. But here we go. These people believe that these sounds are sin. If you say these words, they're wrong. Okay, a dog barking is wrong. A bird chirping is wrong. No sound is wrong. Your brain is set up wrong. That's what it is. Your brain is set up wrong. No sound is wrong. So you have a dress code. Or dress this way, it's right. Dress this way, it's wrong. Speak this way, it's right. Speak this way. All this is man-made crapola. All right? Like, how much of your faith is about your creator and how much is it about people in some social club? All right? You need to call a spade a spade. If you want a social club, make it a social club. Keep God out of it. Because, first of all, you can't describe God. You can't wrap your mind around God. You can't do anything pertaining to God. Okay? You can't point God out to anyone. You can't describe God. You can't picture God. You should not even be speaking on God. It is beyond your bounds. I don't know who you presume to be. sitting there parakeeting some words someone fed to you, you're jeopardizing your own self because you weren't asked to say anything. You weren't asked to make no promises or anything. If you do that, it's on your own head. Now, the social club part. Example. When you walk in some of these buildings, they say, take your hat off, right? This is a place of worship. But they don't tell you what taking your hat off has to do with God, place of worship, or anything. Does taking off your hat make the air fresher? Is it offensive to someone that you have on a hat? Are those the same insane people who say you're making me hot because you have on a thick coat and they don't? They're insane. You can't make another person hot. You're crazy. So, are you making me uncomfortable because you're wearing a hat? Well, you need to fix that. Because here's how you know that is crazy. You don't know where the rule came from. You don't know why it's in your church. You know some rule they fed to you on television about a gentleman tipping his hat to a woman and it's courtesy and respect. Respect. You don't even know what respect means. There's no definition for it. So what I'm simply saying is this. You tell me how come when you walk in a nightclub, the den of iniquity, they have the same rule. Take off your hat. Now this is the den of iniquity. It has the same rule as the church. Take off your hat. So if this is a good action, why are we in this wicked place? Is it a rule? I think there's something shady going on in both places with that hat rule. I do. And it has nothing to do with gangbangers. In the club, they say, oh, we don't want any gang elements or none of this. Or really, they want everybody on the same playing field. If you're ball, you can't hide it behind a hat or different little stuff. It was a lot of little rules. But in the church, they're saying something different. It's the same rule. Take off your hat in here, take off your hat in there. I mean, it's absolutely a must. It's a law. When you walk in the building, no one can wear a hat in here. They're insane to tell you you can't wear a clothing article or clothing articles are what they're for, and that you can show your elbow, but you can't show your breast. You can show your knee, but you can't show your pee-pee. Because these body parts. What if someone decided your ears are for taboo? We be walking around with our ears covered up. No, am I lying? People have veils on if you haven't forgotten. Showing the face is not allowed. Now, understand how people make up these rules of dress code. There is no voice from the heavens ever told you to do this. Just some man told you that some man heard a voice from the heavens that told him and he wrote it down. And now I'm telling you, and there's no proof of this at all, not one little proof. You want to know more? Listen, man, these religions are a joke to me. I've been all of them. I've actually been and believed all these religions. That's why I'm standing here to tell you this. All right? I was a Muslim too. You know what the Quran is? It's a plagiarized Bible made directly off of the Bible. A bad version, and like made by a literate person trying to make their own version of the Bible. Story's the same, all that's all it is, a plagiarized book. All right, the whole thing's a fraud. Okay, now let's talk about the Bible. The Bible, all the stories in the Bible were taken from some Sumerian scrolls. None of them came from the Bible. Every story in it came from these scrolls. And all the characters were what you call black people, and they've all been changed. And it's all crapola, man. It's all crap. Let me tell you something. Everyone in history has been recorded by people. If a person existed, there's documentation of those people, especially during this biblical time. We could write. In case you didn't know that, or how else would they have written the Bible if we couldn't write? So there was documentation, birth records, all these things going on since Cain beget, since Adam and Eve beget Cain and Abel, and on and on and on. All right, records been kept. Some of these people that you believe in never existed. Okay? They talk about Moses' name being stricken from all the records in Egypt. That's really convenient, isn't it? Except for one fact: there is no record of a decree standing saying Moses' name should not be mentioned or ever or stricken from everything. That decree would have to stand in order for people to adhere to that rule. You understand? If such a decree went out, it would have to be posted everywhere and taught to every person in the land so no one went against this decree. And there's no evidence of any such decree, any documentation or nothing, just like there ain't no documentation of Moses ever existing anywhere, ever. And every pharaoh, once you carve something in stone, it can't be undone. Now, there there is no such thing as a unicorn. Now, if you look up all the names for unicorns, you will find unicorns mentioned 9 times in the Bible, like real creatures, like horses and goats. I mean, people speaking of unicorns like they were real right there. There is no such thing as a unicorn. And I'm not talking about a newsreel or a deformed goat that only had one horn. I'm talking about a real unicorn. There's no such thing. But whoever wrote that book believes in unicorns because they speak like they were real. And it just falls apart everywhere you turn. Like God didn't know those were planets out there. Why would he call them stars? If God knew they were planets, why would he call them stars? All this is from the perspective of a man on the ground. And before that, of some creature beneath the water who sees God's face move upon the waters and watch the whole creation go down. And is telling you the story of Adam and Eve and all these. If you listen to it carefully, it's a sea creature watching someone come here and make these creatures, maybe you, and telling the whole story. But that story did not come from that book. It was plagiarized from some tablets. So, you know, it's the only ones like blatant the Book of Mormon. They just like going to make them a book up themselves and claim Jesus came here. Nobody can prove any of this stuff. Once again, people, there is not a single one of you out there can even prove to me God exists. You cannot prove to yourself that God exists. You may want to believe, you may have been taught to want, you may feel something, but you don't know what it is you feel. All right? Now, what I'm simply telling you is you have never heard God and you have never heard from God. And if you believe that, you're insane. Now, and no one else you know. And them little ladies doing a little dance in the front of the churches, calling themselves having the Holy Spirit, that's why they die the way they die. Twisted. That's why they die the way they die, for that blasphemy act of pretending they're in touch with God and God is making them dance like that. The church to them is nothing but a day club. They do the same thing as the nightclub, except drink alcohol. Matter of fact, there's some of them drunk when they come in there before they even come to the service. So I'm not going to say they do anything different. Pastor has a little bottle of vodka right in the dang pulpit. So, basically, it is best that you tell them, I don't allow anyone to come to me and, and talk to me about my mom, about my mother. It's a sensitive subject. If you mess around and you make one mistake, I could kill you. You should go on about your way.